Something has happened in the motorcade route. There's numerous people running up the hill.
But then just as I reached the president's car, there was a third shot.
He is the one man still alive from that fateful day who witnessed it all, who watched a president die and could do nothing to save him.
What emotions does it bring back to see this presidential limo once more?
Well, it brings back the memory of that day in Dallas.
Clint Hill was Secret Service agent number 9, reunited this week with the car now modified with a roof in which President Kennedy died.
Saw the president, he grabbed at his throat and he moved to his left, and I knew something was wrong. So I jumped off my position from the follow-up car and ran toward the presidential car.
The presidential car moving out. The president and first lady.
For the Secret Service, it was just another day. The president insisting on being clearly visible to the Dallas crowds.
Secret Service men, the car behind.
Clint Hill was on the front left running board of the follow-up car. The seasoned agent was protecting Jackie Kennedy that day, about to become an agonized eyewitness to the most shocking event of that era.
The president's car is now turning onto Elm Street.
On hearing the first shot, he reacted instantly, racing to prevent the First Lady from falling out, trying to cover the president.
So when that third shot hit, it hit the back of his head here and exploded out the upper right rear quadrant of the skull. All that material out on the trunk, on me and on Mrs. Kennedy. And I finally got a hold of her and put her in the back seat, and then the president's body fell to its left with his head in her lap, and his right side of his face was up. I could see his eyes were fixed, and I thought it was a fatal wound.
You realized immediately it was non-survivable.
Well, I didn't think it was survivable at all. It just was so devastating.
What did Jackie say at that moment?
Well, she was in shock. And then she said, "Oh, Jack, what have they done? I love you, Jack."
In the years that followed, he continued to work as Mrs. Kennedy's protection officer. But Clint eventually left the Secret Service, becoming a recluse and sinking into deep depression.
Were you living that moment over and over again?
That's exactly what it was. I was reliving that moment and trying to figure out what I could have done differently, if anything, why everything went wrong the way it did. But it just, nothing ever gave me any satisfaction. So I would turn to alcohol. It dulled the pain.
He has now emerged from the darkness, but Clint is still tortured by the great imponderables of that Dallas day.
Some people have said it's the great what if of the 20th century in some ways.
Perhaps that is what it is. That what if it had rained that morning? What if a lot of things? So, and what if I'd have been able to move a little faster? I wouldn't be here, but President Kennedy would probably be alive.
He was awarded a medal for his bravery. Jackie was there at the ceremony. But only now has Clint overcome a sense of shame, feeling that JFK would have been proud of his reactions that day.
JFK, if he could look back, would say you did your duty.
Hopefully he would. I would think that he would, yes.
Does that give you solace?
That makes me feel a little bit better. But I'll still always have that sense that the responsibility I was given that day, I failed to fulfill it.
That will always haunt you.
Will always haunt me until I'm no longer here.